October 30th, 2025, a date that has been circled on calendars worldwide, marking a pivotal moment in global diplomacy. The world is riveted as US President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping meet face-to-face. This meeting is not just a routine diplomatic engagement, it is a significant event that could redefine international relations. This isn't just another diplomatic event. It's a turning point for the world's two superpowers. The decisions made here could alter the course of history. Their rivalry shapes everything from global markets to the risk of war. The economic and military tensions between these nations have far-reaching implications. The stakes? The future of international politics, the global economy, and even the prospects for peace. The world watches, hoping for resolutions that could lead to stability. The US and China are locked in fierce competition, economically, technologically, and militarily, yet they must also cooperate on issues like climate change and health security. These are challenges that transcend borders and require joint efforts. Every word and gesture in this summit will be scrutinized by governments and markets worldwide. Analysts and experts are on high alert, ready to interpret every nuance. Trump's bold, unpredictable style meets Xi's disciplined, strategic approach. Personal chemistry could tip the balance. Their interactions could set the tone for future engagements. If they find common ground, tensions could ease and progress might follow. Agreements reached here could pave the way for a new era of cooperation. If not, the world could see deeper divisions and greater risks. The potential for conflict looms large if diplomacy fails. This summit is a test. Can these two giants coexist peacefully, or are we headed for more conflict? The outcome will have lasting effects on global stability. A breakdown could escalate trade wars or military standoffs. Success could open doors for global cooperation. The stakes are incredibly high, and the world is holding its breath. That's why leaders, businesses, and citizens everywhere are watching. Because what happens in this room will shape the world's path. The decisions made here will ripple across continents. The future is being decided right now. The world waits with bated breath, hoping for a positive outcome that could lead to a more harmonious global community. At the core of US-China tension is a fundamental clash of worldviews. A rivalry that shapes not just their own destinies, but the future of the entire world. America champions democracy, free markets, and strong alliances, values it sees as the foundation of global stability and prosperity. For decades, the US has promoted these ideals, believing they lead to peace, innovation, and individual freedom. Meanwhile, China, rising at an unprecedented pace, believes its state-led model has lifted hundreds of millions from poverty and created a new path to prosperity. Chinese leaders argue that their system, with its focus on order and collective progress, deserves a bigger say in global affairs. Beijing seeks a new international order, one that reflects its interests, traditions, and priorities, rather than simply adopting Western ideals. This vision is about respect, sovereignty, and a different approach to governance. This isn't just theory, it's playing out in real time, affecting decisions in capitals around the globe. The US pushes for a free and open internet, seeing information as a universal right. China, on the other hand, censors and controls information, arguing that stability and social harmony come first. America works through a network of alliances, strengthening old partnerships and building new ones. China builds influence with massive infrastructure projects like the Belt and Road Initiative, investing in roads, ports, and railways across continents. It's a contest, an established power defending the old system versus a rising power determined to reshape it. Military, economic, and technological competition are all part of this high-stakes rivalry. These visions are so fundamentally different that finding lasting solutions is incredibly tough. Every negotiation, every summit, is a test of whether compromise is possible. The future of the global order hangs in the balance, as the world watches to see which vision will shape the decades to come. The US-China trade war is about much more than just tariffs or taxes on goods. It's a complex struggle that reaches deep into the foundations of both countries' economies and even their visions for the future. While tariffs are the most visible weapon, the real battle is over who will set the rules for global trade and technology in the 21st century. President Trump's tariffs were aimed at what he described as unfair Chinese practices, like intellectual property theft, forced technology transfers from American companies, and massive government subsidies that give Chinese firms an edge. These issues have frustrated U.S. businesses for years, and the tariffs were meant to force China to change. China hit back with its own tariffs, sparking a costly standoff that rippled through both economies. American farmers lost access to Chinese markets, while Chinese exporters faced shrinking orders. Stock markets around the world reacted with uncertainty, and businesses on both sides struggled to plan for the future. At the heart of this conflict is something deeper. America wants open competition and a level playing field, but China's Made in China 2025 plan uses state power to dominate high-tech industries like robotics, AI, and green energy. This isn't just about trade, it's about who will lead in the technologies of tomorrow. The US sees China's approach as a threat to fair play and the global economic order. Meanwhile, China views US demands as an attack on its right to develop and modernize, and as interference in its internal affairs. Both sides feel their core interests are at stake. Neither side is willing to fundamentally change its approach or back down, making compromise extremely difficult. So when Trump and Xi meet to talk trade, they're really debating the rules and values that will shape the global economy for decades to come. It's a contest for influence, not just a negotiation over tariffs. That's why this dispute is so hard to resolve, and why it casts a long shadow over everything else, from global markets to the future of innovation and international cooperation. The fiercest US-China competition is over technology. Whoever leads in AI, 5G, and quantum computing will shape the future, economically and militarily. The US sees companies like Huawei as security threats and has banned them, urging allies to do the same. China is racing to build its own tech ecosystem, aiming for independence from Western chips and software. This tech decoupling could split the world into rival digital spheres. Trump wants to protect America's edge. Xi wants China to set the standards. Their choices will determine the future of the internet, business, and security. The outcome of this tech race will echo for decades. Nowhere is US-China rivalry more dangerous than the Indo-Pacific, especially the South China Sea. China's militarized islands challenge international law and alarm its neighbors. The US responds with freedom of navigation operations, bringing both militaries into risky proximity. Taiwan is another flashpoint. China vows unification. The US supports Taiwan's defense. Any miscalculation could trigger a catastrophic conflict between nuclear powers. Trump wants China to back off in the South China Sea and renounce force against Taiwan. Xi sees US military presence as a threat. Clear communication is vital to prevent disaster. Managing these hotspots is one of the summit's toughest challenges. Human rights are a major fault line. The US condemns China's actions in Xinjiang and Hong Kong as violations of basic freedoms. China calls this interference, defending its policies as necessary for stability and security. For Trump, there's pressure to stand up for American values, but pushing too hard risks derailing cooperation elsewhere. Xi prioritizes sovereignty and control, rejecting Western criticism. This values clash is deep and persistent. It complicates every negotiation. Bridging this divide remains one of the relationship's greatest challenges. Trump and Xi's personal styles shape everything. Trump is bold, direct, and transactional. He wants quick wins and dramatic deals. Xi is strategic, disciplined, and plays the long game, always thinking about China's future power. Their meetings are unpredictable. Trump seeks visible victories. Xi looks for lasting advantage. Sometimes what looks like a deal to Trump is just a step in Xi's longer plan. Their chemistry can make or break progress. Direct talks are essential, but risky. Success depends on whether Trump's deal-making can mesh with Xi's patience. The outcome often hinges on what happens behind closed doors. As the summit ends, the world wonders, what's next? One path is escalating confrontation, a new Cold War, rival blocs, and rising risks. Another is managed competition rivalry, but with cooperation on global challenges like climate change and pandemics. Most likely it's a mix, enduring competition, but with some guardrails to prevent disaster. Open communication and crisis management will be crucial. The choices made now in Washington and Beijing will shape the century. Trump and Xi must manage differences without tipping into conflict. The world's stability depends on their ability to balance rivalry and cooperation. The story isn't finished yet. US-China relations affect everyone, everywhere. Their economic battles disrupt global supply chains and jobs. Other countries are pressured to pick sides, economically and strategically. Global problems like climate change and pandemics can't be solved without their cooperation. If they clash, the whole world suffers. If they cooperate, everyone benefits. That's why this summit matters far beyond Washington and Beijing. The future of billions depends on what happens between these two powers. The stakes couldn't be higher.